Sorry, I pressed go before I was ready. This is my European columnar hornbeam nursery stock. It is not yet budded out. It's still alive. I keep scratching it here and there to see. In fact, these roots don't look super dead. Like these actually are, I don't know if they're alive, but I hope that some of them are at least alive. It was budding back from underneath the base here, but big lumps of roots. So I've got to do a little bit of, I mean, look at that. So much big roots. It was a mud bag. I was going to wait till it budded out some in order to repot it, but I think at this point it's just get it out of that soil, make sure it can breathe. Funky roots. I got this one that's curling down underneath this. I think this is my widest point. This may have rotted some. I can't even tell. But I'm going to put it into a root growing basket. I've got, this is some like finer bonsai soil. I've got my regular bonsai soil. Got a little bit of like compost from my mother's compost pile, meaning like decomposed table scrap food, horse manure, things like that. And then I've got sphagnum because I think if this thing's going to have a chance, it needs some of that sphagnum or I'm going to have a lot of rot. In order to get it out of the container I put it in, because it was so caked with mud, I had to cut it out of the container itself. It's 70 pounds of mud. I couldn't even move the container really. I could, but the container didn't want to come. So I just took my my bread knife and cut in a circle around it, cut under it, and then I've been, cutting off with my knob cutters here. But looking at the bottom of this, I need to at least scratch up some of this to make sure it's alive. It is. And also get some roots growing. It's a nice big lump, but there's no roots growing out of the bottom of it. In order for me to get roots, I've got to expose some cambium, I believe. So that's what I'm going to start off with. You can kind of see what I'm doing. Although I'm focusing on seeing what I'm doing so I don't cut off, the whole bottom of the tree. Not that that's bad. There's not a whole lot on the bottom of this tree that's any good, but I don't want to cut off any more than I need to still. I don't know where the energy in this tree is because I know it's not in buds and all that stuff. It's one where every single other plant has budded out. My other hornbeam a while ago, the one that was Yamadori was collected. I'm going to stop there on that one. I just made it more flat. Actually, I need to cut some off here. Yeah. A big mess of just wood under here. Which is fine, except I don't need it. Big chunks of wood. A little more here. I'm trying to get a good bargain on this at some point. I'm sure this is the first time. Anyone watching this that is legitimately, watch me saying, that's wrong. Oh my gosh, Taco, please don't do that. It's a good thing I posted this in very close proximity to me doing this, because otherwise it would be, almost end of May before I posted this, just because of the backlog of videos that I've already made. So this is probably only a couple days later. I think May 3rd is when this is going to go up, and I filmed it on April 29th, April 30th, somewhere in that range. All right, I need to take a little bit more off the bottom here. I mean, it's almost impossible to, but I feel like I need to. I want to take more of this root off. I want to take more of it off in general, but I don't think I can. I do think I should take this one down to keep it heading towards the soil. I'm trying to embrace this funky, thick root system here, despite not being the most amazing root system. All these roots seem to be alive, which is good. Yeah, it helps me. And, like this one's kind of sticking out and crossing. So I'm going to take that clean off. Hope it's not, too important of a root. I don't think it is. I hope it's not. There we go. There's a little bit on there I should have kept. So, of course, I'm not making the best decisions here, but I'm trying to keep anything I can just point down versus things that are sticking straight out. Like this stuff, I can point it down and I can get myself a nice, That's the goal, is to have something like that. Nice, 4 inches across, nice taper to it. There were roots all the way up here I cleaned off. I'm glad I did, because I needed to, kind of. Got some rotten wood here. It's just, falling apart, which isn't great. Take it apart my fingers, unfortunately. So I probably need to get in there with something and carve that out. I don't have anything with me right now. It's just a big mess, this whole thing. Rot's never good. It's definitely not good. Oh, there we go. We got some live tissue now. Definitely not good in the roots. It's the one place where I'm always terrified of rot. It's rotting up top. Usually the tree can kind of exclude it, but down here, I don't think so. I think this is kind of the worst place for there to be rot. I think it's part of this big root that's just rotted. So I'm going to try to do what the tree wants to do and exclude it. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just going sideways with this to take a little section out of it. To get rid of the rot altogether. In between these two. That's kind of idea. I kind of took a chunk out there. I don't know that it did everything I needed to do. But it looks better at least, Big, chunk of rot in here. So that'll have to be addressed, definitely, before I can go too far in the development of this tree. But it's pretty flat already, that's pretty flat. So I'm going to stop there to avoid just wasting effort. And of course, soil on pieces I don't want. I did not do any other selection of these roots. I've just been trying to get them, somewhat radial. I'm not worried about crossing as much as I am worried about, just health. So here's one that had grown over. This is actually grown through this other root. Create a little bit of rot there, it looks like. And it comes from this other side, so I can pull it through the other side there. Now it's more radial, which is nice. I have no clue what's going on in here. I don't like it. It looks like I've got a root that comes around and grows through here. So this one may have to come off in the future, but for now, I'm going to leave it. Just see what happens. I'm going to cut that little guy off. So you may or may not be able to see this one. Comes around and it's not giving me any feeder roots that I can see. So as far as I'm concerned, that is already a dead root. It's, not doing any good for us. But just things like that, that's all I can really afford to do. Here. So much rot. It's cool to see all the different, rotted areas, but it's not what anybody's looking for when they get a tree. I'll pull out some of this right here, see what's going on here. Looks like this root is coming out of there. Does it start there, or is it just the end of a root that snaked around? Is the other question, Not a whole lot of bad stuff in there, but there's some really funky little nooks and crannies in here. I like them, but they're not helping everybody. Not with the way they're all set up right now. All right, I think I've gotten as much out of this as I can without, really digging in. It's going to be a nice tree if it survives. I don't know if it will. So let's move that out of the way. It's going to go in here. So I don't have a whole lot in there yet. What I want to do is I want to put some sphagnum in here to kind of nestle it on. Sphagnum is damp. It's not super soaked. But that's okay. It's kind of what I want. I'm going to save just a little bit to to put around the roots up top. And I'm going to tie this in because I don't see a better way to keep it safe, even though it's not very. See if I've got a scrap all ready to go. I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and. Oh, sorry about the noise. Grab some of this, cut it off, and go in, I guess, from the bottom, off to the side. See if I can poke this up through here without. No, I can't. That's okay though. Got other holes on the side that I can use. So grab my drill because I anticipated this. Make some holes a little bigger. I'm just going to tie it side to side. One. There's the other. I should be able to slide this through now. Let's see. Can I? Yes, I can. All right. And I'm going to do it a little different as well because instead of trying to do all that funky stuff, I'm just going to slide it, you know, ooh, I'm going to put it over versus, you know, under. Got to get this to the point where I can pull on it so I can pull it through. I'm going to loop it over because I'm really, trying to do this the right way. I do have a little bit of hose here. I'm going to slide over here to try to protect these roots because I do not want to dig in. Under no circumstances, that's what I want. About to halfway here. There. Just going down in here. Pull this out for a minute while I make sure that I can fit through this hole. That's the part I probably could have cut out, right? These are just regular pliers. I don't have my hemostats with me right now. I'm not sure I need them right this minute. All right. Ooh. There we go. So now I've got a nice, just like that. Make sure all these are underneath. And I'm going to turn it this way, actually. Turn it like that. Again, I didn't trim any length off of these other than just the initial cutting it out of the mud. Part of the reason I wanted to tie it down this way is because I think I get a little more of an ability to, you know, keep it in place without locking it per se, but that's pretty solid. All right. Next, I would like to I'm going to mix up my sphagnum and this compost. Just in my fingers here. Just a little bit. Ooh, and I'm going to put in some of this because I'm not trying to kill this thing. I'm going to put that into the bonsai soil though. A little into there. All right. So that's now in my bonsai soil. And I'm going to do some pouring into bonsai soil. I hope I have enough for this because this is a lot. Throw some more sphagnum on here, not just to fill the space, but to you know, protect it. And it's mixed in with compost, so I know it's not fertilizer, but I'm hoping that it'll have enough nutrients, enough, you know, beneficial bacteria, enough, you know, antimicrobial properties and everything else that it'll survive. That's my biggest concern right now. Put bonsai soil on top again. That's all the bonsai soil I have other than this finer stuff. Just stake it all in. I'm hoping that when I stake this in, I'll be staking it into the roots. And the sphagnum will be what pops up, if anything. There shouldn't be any voids underneath because I did put it all the way to there. Well, that looks like, nope, that's sphagnum. We're good. Yep. Yeah. This just wasn't budding out. This is my solution. repot it, see what the roots look like, see if they're just rotten. I think there was enough rot in there that if I hadn't done this, it probably wouldn't have ever survived. May have grown some shoots this summer and then just died. So I'm glad I did this. Turn this around. I think I'm just about done pushing it all in. I mean, there's no ability for it to move, but that doesn't mean that I can leave any air pockets. I want to make sure there's no air pockets whatsoever. I'm trying to be as methodical as possible, but all right. I think I got all the air pockets out. This is the last bit of my, it's super fine. It's kind of like sand. Ooh, but because I've got the sphagnum in there, I'm hoping that it won't create any issues. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this container right now. I could probably borrow some soil from another project, but as is right now, I've got all the roots covered. It's in a pond basket. Once I've watered it down, it'll have plenty of room to grow. And for your viewing pleasure, I'm going to water this in the most American way possible. I've always thought of this and how much fun it must be, or it would be, to have my neighbors see this. So, of course, there's my hornbeam, European columnar hornbeam. And hi bud. My little dog's outside. I'm going to use my American watering can, because this is what we do with everything that we really touch, is just, you know, it is exactly what you think it is. I just made my own spout for it. It's 2 gallons, so it allows me to water a lot more than I did before. And as it is right now, this needs a lot of water. So it is warm water. It's been sitting. It's not brand new. There might be some chlorine in it, but it's had a little bit of time to evaporate some off. It's not quite distilled, or, you know, it's really just tap water, but that is all right. So I'm proud of myself because I used the same tubing to make the kind of O-ring for this spout. It's a vacuum cleaner attachment. It just happened to fit decently, so I cut it off and made a spout. This is, you know, this is my new outdoor watering can, so my neighbors can watch me just dumping petrol, gasoline onto my plants. It'll be really fun to have them market that. So I cut this off, I think it was like New Year's Day. You can see it has like healthy looking color to the bark. It doesn't look dead. It's not even coming out the bottom really yet. And it would be coming out the sides if it didn't come out the bottom, so I can hear it settling in there, I believe. Let's see how that did, huh? Let's see, I'm gonna put that on a little stand, and there we go. It's sort of coming out. All right, well, hopefully I save this one. It is going to go outside. Hopefully it will survive, but who knows? But that was I'm glad you guys got to skip all the terrible parts and just get to see the good stuff. This is my European columnar hornbeam in a pond basket. I want to say thanks to Tom from Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. He mentioned the idea of sometimes they do a root pruning on fruit trees to get them to fruit. That's kind of where I was like, well, this might be my last ditch effort. And it made me think I should check out the roots, since it wasn't doing anything. It just had root suckers coming up, so I was worried that the base was rotten. And then there was a gap between living tissue. Also want to thank Jason from Bonsai Garden, Jason Hanran, for mentioning pond baskets. He's the one who inspired me to buy these, and I love them. These are just from like Walmart for a couple bucks. Of course, Tom again for sphagnum. You kind of made me get it. Oh man, Sam from Nilly's Bonsai. Again, you work with sphagnum. Adam from Notion Bonsai. You did a lot of sphagnum work. All you folks have been doing a great job of, you know, keeping me moving forward. I kind of stagnate with a lot of things I do. Why am I standing behind the camera? I kind of stagnate with a lot of things I do, a lot of things I'm comfortable with. So I appreciate you all just staying on me and keeping me from being too stagnant. Not complacent, that's too positive. Stagnant. I was definitely stagnating in the techniques that I knew and I was comfortable with, and not trying hard enough to learn new techniques or to retry techniques that I'd failed with before. I still think sphagnum moss is like the least comfortable thing to touch on this planet, but it's got its use. It will probably be the deciding factor as to whether or not this tree lives or dies. It did have good feeder roots on there. I'm not sure how many of those are alive. I hope a lot of them. Even looking at like this one here, this seems to be a living root. I'm not sure. It's tough. I mean, it's not rotten. It's very flexible. You can barely pull it apart. It's very, very strong. So I don't think that was a rotten root. I don't think any of these big pieces were rotten either. But I don't know. We'll find out. If this thing ever had a chance, I gave it the best chance that I have with the materials available to me. I'm now completely out of bonsai soil again, so it's time to make or mix some. I know I forgot to thank some people. I also want to say that this video marks my celebration of 150 subscribers, which I'm well aware of how the algorithm works. I'm well aware of the sheer numbers that a lot of people have in their subscription list, thousands, even hundreds. And it's mind blowing to me to have that many, because it's been about 3 months for me now on YouTube as a content creator. It has been a lot of work to maintain. The filming isn't so hard. I just set the camera up and film everything. But uploading it, keeping it stored somewhere, trying to get it into a palatable format, trying to, even come up with creative descriptions and names without being too wordy. I've been kind of streamlining things because I feel like if I'm working too hard at something, someone else is working too hard to view it, enjoy it, and interpret it. So, now I've got this big honking hornbeam, which someone maybe watches like, what's a hornbeam? It's kind of like a beech. It's in that family. And if you look up a hornbeam, you'll get all different types. The most common one's probably a Korean hornbeam. This is a European columnar hornbeam, which means it grows very upright. Everything's just pointed up. Very apical growth. I learned, well, I don't know if I learned that word, but I definitely hear that word, and it has very good meaning because Candace says it so much. Apical growth. So this one will just grow up. I will have to be careful when it does get shoots to make sure I direct them out when they're still very soft and supple, so that way I don't get shoots that come up and then I have to point them back down again. I want them to just go down and kind of weep. Taper will be an issue for me. I've got a place where there's a branch here. I think I scratched it here. There's all kinds of places where I hope it backbuds from. I just don't know if it ever will. As it is right now, I don't mind it in this little bucket. I did have another pot I wanted to put it in. I got the gray pot that was kind of similar to the one I put my river birch in. And I think it would look really good with this. But we'll just have to see. I've got a lot of pots I want to put trees in, but this tree needs to be in a basket. It needs to live, and this is the only way it's going to live. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for 150 subscribers. It fluctuated up and down a little bit there. I will say that posting one short got me instantly 5 subscribers, and I instantly lost 3 of them. So I'm not sure that shorts are the way to go for me and my channel, but they are kind of fun. I will, of course, be continuing to post a whole bunch of these throughout the month of May that have already been filmed, whether they be early in April and all that. And hopefully I'll have some really, really cool updates for you folks by the end of summer. I'll be caught up with repotting and all that. I still have more plants I might repot. So I need to do the literati challenge, and of course, Gail from GG Evergreen Bonsai. I have not forgotten about my landscape challenge. I still have my green marble tray, I guess you'd call it right now. It doesn't have holes in it. I'll be drilling holes in that. I will be selecting trees to put in that. Maybe I'll use my birch, but I was thinking about an easier tree. Those birches, they root very well, but I don't know how birches would look in a landscape planting the way that I'm imagining. So I've just been going on and on. I appreciate you all, and I hope that I continue to delight you or at least keep you occupied for a couple hours at a time while you're trying to watch one or two of my videos. Um, this has gone too long. I'll probably cut this all out. Or make it in two parts. I could do that as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.